Hey Cleveland, welcome back to another episode of Make It in Cleveland. I am Errol Porter, and today I'm being nostalgic. I'm hanging out at the Erieview Plaza and Galleria here in downtown Cleveland. And I remember the days of walking through this indoor mall and doing some indoor shopping, but things have changed. But this place is going to have a makeover. And here with me right now to talk about that makeover is Richard Morehouse from KJK, AKA Corman, Jackson, and Krantz.
You got it.
Well, I studied that all night long, man. So how's it going, man? Tell us about the renaissance that's going to happen here.
Yeah, here in the Erieview Tower and Galleria, this is currently, as you can tell looking around, it's a former mall and an office building, right? And there's also parking underneath the mall. So what we're going to do is we're going to do some demolition and abatement, but we're going to convert many floors of the office tower into a couple hundred multifamily luxury apartment units that are going to be run by the Marriott Hotel Group. And then along with that, there are going to be 217 luxury hotel rooms that are going to be branded as the W Hotel Cleveland. And included in that mix, we're going to bring back the top of the town restaurant on the 38th floor. And there's also going to be a rooftop deck. So we're going to turn it up a couple of notches.
All right. Now how much of this are we going to keep? It's going to be looking like the old place. Are we going to be able to recognize it when we walk in here?
You will be able to recognize the structure, but there's going to be significant changes. Like I was talking about, the new development, it's going to be effectively anchored by the W Hotel. And so there isn't a hotel in the Cleveland market like the W.
Right. And
so I looked at some preliminary drawings recently, and to me it looks very much like rock and roll, which is great because outside of the windows you can look and you can see the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Right.
And so there's going to be some great synergies between the hotel, the multifamily, and then the office. We're going to have here in the tower the most highly amenitized space in Cleveland with amazing views.
Now I understand what I was talking before. You have a passion for renovating and looking at something, saying, "Man, we can keep that." So what gave you that passion? What gives you that drive to walk on a place and look around and say, "You know what? This place can be saved"?
Yeah. I've had a lot of experiences over the years. In my career, I've worked all across the country. I've seen kind of what works, what doesn't work, and I kind of reflected on Cleveland. It's like, if you read the local newspapers, listen to talk shows, people are like, "Oh man, why can't we have this in Cleveland?" But the reality is we already do have a lot in Cleveland. We have a lot to build on, but we just have to kind of figure some things out. And fortunately, I think people are starting to realize more that, hey, we do have a lot of talent. We do have a lot of great people. We can work together. That's a critical piece to breathe things back to life, to have the vision and the desire and drive to execute, to figure out the hard things. Let the hard things be hard and let the simple things be simple. And so, in my, where I have been in my career, I've seen what it took to get things done in other markets, and I've just said, this is home. Like Cleveland always has been like the center city for me, growing up, and I thought, I'm kind of getting up in years. I'm 50 now, but I thought, what better way to make use of the rest of my working career than to put what I've learned and kind of bring it to bear and reconnect historic assets like Erieview Tower and Galleria for the good of the city, for the good of the people, and help the developer do good while also doing good for the community.
Absolutely. Now, Richard, I understood everything you said except your age. You just kind of whispered that.
Yeah.
We'll get back to that later, right? so tell us about, you talked about teamwork, and that's one thing that's important. Tell us about the Economic Development Practice Group and how that's going to help sustain this project.
Yeah, you mean the practice group at KJK or the city?
It's the city's economic development practice group.
Yeah.
Or yours also.
Okay.
Let's be mind that.
Yeah, I'll kind of go through both.
Okay.
So KJK, we have an economic development and incentives practice group. We have offices in Cleveland and Columbus, and we were able to bring a whole bunch of perspectives to bear to get great results for our clients, because we have, we're a full spectrum, full service law firm. And that means like we have finance, we have construction, we have community development, we have all the necessary food groups that you would expect that it would take to bring together and focus into one project. Usually you might have like a law firm that'll specialize in like 2 or 3 things. At KJK, with everything that we have, the construction, the finance, the economic development and incentives, we can just kind of train all the forces on one spot and, do things that other firms might not be able to do successfully.
So cool. Now you talk about the funding. Of course, a project like this takes a whole lot of money. Let's talk about how the community economic development department here in Cleveland has helped you guys along the way.
Right. Yeah. And, working with the city economic development group, it's been good. It's been a process, just because cities all across downtowns in all across the United States, they've been rebounding. Let's talk positively and put it that way. But during the pandemic, a lot of folks were working from home, and some of them were pretty happy doing it. But in the course of the pandemic, people were realizing, hey, we can be more productive if we do this thing. We can integrate technology more into what we're doing. We can be more efficient, more productive, and so that kind of resulted in a change of thinking about what people want in an office building. And so, what does that mean? It means a lot of the office buildings are obsolete, and what we have to do now is we have to seize on the opportunity to figure out what's next for these office buildings. A lot of what's going to happen in Erieview, national people, people in the market are going to look to and say, oh, they did this, we can do that too. Right. But it was a process, just because, working with city economic development, they had to underwrite the project. They had to understand, it's like, okay, what are we going to do and how's it going to benefit the community? Right. And so, we had to kind of present and prove all the points. We had to bring a lot of data to bear, and the city was really thorough in going through all the points of due diligence, and because this undertaking, this isn't like the 1980s. This is a post-COVID environment where there's a lot of risk out there, because the projects that are being done, they take a lot of time, and candidly, they haven't been done in Cleveland, just because we've been converting a lot of buildings to residential, granted, but residential with a hotel, not so much, and you're going to still have office too. Oh, and there's this mall, right? So it's really enormously complex undertaking. This development, there's going to be 5 real estate asset classes. There's going to be the parking, the retail, the hotel, offices still, and the apartments, and so there's a lot of risk in that. And so the city economic development team, they, worked alongside of us. It was complex because, it's like, oh, if you have all the money to do all that, why do you need help from the city? Right. And so, it was great to kind of work with them to go through all the fine economic points, and, what was needed and what the benefits were going to be to the community. And
so what are some of the benefits that you get from this project from working with a full service law firm like yours?
What was that again?
What kind of benefits, and because of the angle you are coming from, a full service law firm, what kind of benefits are added to this project because of that?
Yeah, ultimately, we've assisted with all the different phases that are necessary to undertake the development. Yeah. So aside from working with the city on the incentives, we have experts in construction management, we have experts in project management, we have experts in real estate finance, and experts that really understand everything soup to nuts, or if we don't have everything on one person, we can go and, we have the lawyer who works with the architects. He does the architect contracts.
Right.
We also have a lawyer who specializes in construction contracts. We have a lawyer that focuses heavily on like pricing and kind of, like getting the best terms for our client, from lenders. And, we also have, a collaborative, nothing is impossible culture, so like we have a culture of teamwork. We don't have a bunch of cowboys on the ranch, so to speak. Everybody just really pitches in and works together to get great results for our client. We try to make things as seamless as possible for our clients, and it's a really entrepreneurial environment, and we work with a lot of entrepreneurial clients, and so there's just a lot of synergies.
Now, any other projects you all are working on at the same time you'll be undertaking this one? Any other major things going on?
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
Let's follow on some of that, and what's in store for the future of what you guys want to make your market in Cleveland?
Yeah. Of course, we do work for our clients,
right.
And so a lot of our clients, they are really heavily invested in the future of Cleveland, rather than going to some other market where they're more certain to make money faster. They consider Cleveland home, and they know that if they can bring the investment, come up with the concepts that, it'll be satisfying and worthwhile to them. And so, we're looking at a lot of historic projects all across the city. We're working on former industrial sites that are heavily contaminated. We're working with the County Land Bank and the state of Ohio, to bring like grants to bear to clean up, large industrial sites. There's a 20-acre site at I think 50th and Woodland that we've worked on. A lot of like smaller building conversions, like loft warehouses over on Superior Avenue. We're now going to the west side. We're doing some projects on the west side.
But when they cleaned up, like the environment, you said environmental cleanups, will they be conducive for building after that?
Absolutely, yeah. Building or living. Like here in Erieview Tower, there's currently some asbestos, and you can't have anybody living in a place where there's asbestos. But a lot of the older buildings, they were just, people didn't know any better that you shouldn't use asbestos, and so we had to clean that up, and so that people can go in, or we can renovate the buildings or tear them down and use them for something else.
Right. Cleveland's such a great place, and let's just talk about some of Cleveland's strengths and why you want to stay here and redevelop some of the buildings in our city. And what can the city of Cleveland as a whole do to continue to move forward?
Okay. Yeah, Cleveland has a amazing historic legacy, right? We have a lot of people from a lot of different cultures, a lot of different backgrounds. And over time, if you look back in history, a lot of people don't realize that Cleveland was once the oil refining capital of the world. It's no wonder that the river got fired, right?
Yeah.
But, but there's nothing like a little adversity to kind of, strengthen you, right? And so as a city, we've gone through so much adversity, and we've all made it together. And there's a lot of positives that can come through that, And, I think, Cleveland's strength is its people, It doesn't matter where you live or what you do, like in Cleveland, everybody really seems to be friendly, kind of neighborly, and that's conducive to a lot of things. You can look at it from an economic perspective, it's like, no matter which part of the city you're from, if you have something to offer, if you attract people in your neighborhood, it benefits the whole city. It's like Cleveland is at the center of a great network. We at the center of transportation networks, rail, air. We have an airport, and there's education, healthcare, amazing park system. We have so much, like the cultural amenities. We have one of the top art museums in the world, natural history, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Right.
We have so much, and I think sometimes we kind of get lost looking at other cities, like, what are they doing? It's kind of like what we go through in junior high, but, when we come out of that, we're like, oh yeah, it's okay to be ourselves. And, we're actually pretty cool. So I think, I think we're getting to that, but I think we still have a ways to go. Like one thing about Cleveland, it's like there's so many neighborhoods, which is great, but, with that comes costs.
Yeah.
It's like, so we have to figure out how can we program this all to work more efficiently. We'll have to trust each other and kind of work through and get through it, but it can be done, has been done, and we're Clevelanders, we can figure it out.
Definitely a resilient city. We will figure it out. Let's go to your dream board. Had all the money in the world, man. I came over your house and dumped a truckload of money to you. Give me your dream project. What would you love to work on?
The dream project. I think my dream project would probably be constructing a. Wow, that's an amazing question. I think I'd have to look at the details, like, and of course you'd expect that coming from a lawyer. But I mean, I think I would like to probably establish like a networked, I guess, operation that kind of focused on community development.
Mm-hmm.
Like one thing in Cleveland, you can look at the map and see where the redlining happened. Right. And then, but what a lot of people may not think about is how can we cure that or turn that on its head? And the solution is by networking everybody together. And so I think, establishing, like healthcare, childcare, things like that, alongside of investment to improve the network infrastructure. I'm talking like transportation, healthcare, schools. And if we do that, we will be able to, I guess, program around and get past the redlining. That's going to take everybody to work together, but can be done, should be done, will be done.
All righty. All right, man, we appreciate your time. And what we're going to do, of course, the grand tour. You take us around and show us a little bit about what this place may look like in the future. Let's point some stuff out. And hey, thanks for joining us too right here on Make It in Cleveland. Once again, I want to thank Mr. Richard Morehouse from KJK for joining us. And one thing we keep building this city up. It's going to keep staying beautiful as always. Once again, thank you for joining us here on the City of Cleveland's TV 20. I'm Errol Porter, and remember, you too can make it in Cleveland.